Hey, what's up, everyone? Good morning, or evening, wherever you are. Yeah, more Puru today. This time we're working on more retopology. Still working on those osteoderms for the back here. I don't normally do this for the Puru stuff. I try to keep it all on stream, but I did go back in here and do some reworking of the just the flow of this area here, because it was giving me I just wasn't satisfied with the way it was working out when we were last last stream. So I wanted to come back and kind of try to improve that. I had an idea for how I could do that, and it's just when like that type of thing happens, I kind of want to just get it done, so I can just like capture it and see if it works and try to move on. So I did try something else, and it's just moving the flow around a little bit better. There's still a lot of stuff to improve. Like, this is not anything that I would consider done, but I do think it's capturing the form, or starting to capture the form better than it was before, and I think the flow is better of the topology here. Like I said, still a good amount to clean up, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from this area just because it was kind of pretty intensive. I'm going to work on the section over here on the back. All these osteos need to be represented somehow. So I'm going to start in on that, and yeah, we'll just see how far we get today. Just another retopo day. Getting there, getting close to the end of this, so we can move on to some new stuff soon. For those of you who are like wanting to see something new in the phase of production, so we'll get there soon, but just got to go through all of this stuff. So what I'm doing here is just kind of cutting in. I'm not really worrying too much about the like flow right now, like the way things are going to terminate and stuff. I'm gonna try. I think that it's gonna resolve pretty easily. I hope. But I'm just kind of coming in and cutting out the shape that I need, and then kind of forming the scale, I guess, scale shape that I need from that. So they're kind of like, what's this? Trapezoidal. Eric Cardoso, I'm not the one to really be giving you that answer. When do you think the game will be ready? There's a lot of stuff going on with the game. I'm just one small part of it. You'll have to ask someone who's got more of the big picture idea than me. I just do the models out here. I know everyone is like, once when there's a project and everyone's excited about it, people can't really wait till it's completed. But I think what is important to keep in mind is like a lot of the problems that games have these days is that they're rushed. Um, they're just like rushed as fast as they possibly can to get it out the door. And then think about the experience you have when those types of games come out. They're buggy, they're frustrating, they're kind of like underbaked. Like you can see the potential in the game, but you don't really see it like coming through in the final product. You see that happen a lot in like the AAA game space nowadays, which is kind of unfortunate. The nice thing about indie stuff is that we're kind of allowed to put a little bit more time into things. There's definitely a balance, you don't want to take, you can, I've seen projects that get into this loop of like, they want to make everything perfect. So they start, doing and redoing stuff. Perfection doesn't really exist. I think it's kind of that balance of like you want things to work well, but I don't think well enough that it can be represented and be a functional game. But there can be some rough edges around there. So yeah, I would just keep some of that stuff in mind when you're getting excited about an indie project and you want it to come out soon. But that's kind of one of the reasons, especially people like me get involved with these types of projects, is because we do get the time to make sure everything's working well, make sure everything is done to the quality bar that we would like it to be. I mean, we saw a lot of big games announced this week, I believe, right? Because we had the Sony State of Play. And then yesterday we had, what was it called? The Summer Games Fest, I think. All those trailers that were announced. I don't know if you guys were able to watch it or if you have any like if you're looking forward to anything or got surprised by anything. Would be interested to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm excited too much by what I saw. Like there's a few things that were interesting. If I think about it, let me see. Like yesterday they had there's a new Resident Evil that looked kind of cool. They had a trailer for Mortal Shell that looked pretty cool. I don't know if I might try the game. Maybe they had like a demo kind of thing, early access thing. I think that I may try just to see if I like the game or not. What I'm primarily interested about that game though is just the visuals. I think that game looks really cool. Like the design that they have with the armor and the enemies in that game looks pretty interesting. It's definitely like taking inspiration from Souls games. But I think they're doing it really well. Whoever is designing that armor is an amazing designer because it looks sick. Probably some of the best, I would say some of the best like character, like armor design that I've seen in a long time. Trying to think if there's anything else that I was looking forward to. There was a new, I think in the Sony State of Play, they showed a new Digimon game that looked kind of cool. I'm not sure if I remember what the name of it was. I've always like wanted a really good Digimon game. But unfortunately, I think they're kind of, I don't know, they have the Digimon World games. And I played the very first one. And that game was cool, but it was like, it was really difficult and like not straightforward. Or maybe it could have been that I was just like a little kid not knowing what to do with the game, but it seemed really hard. So I didn't really get very far with it. And I haven't really kept up with what they're doing with the newer like Digimon World games. But I always wanted like a really cool Digimon game. I think there's a lot of potential to have with that, and I don't know if it's fully like tapped into yet. Sharky, hello. How are you doing? Yeah, I can't think of too much more, unfortunately. It's kind of like I always want to be more excited about games that are coming out, but lately I'm just not like super interested in what there is out there, I guess. At least not in like what AAA stuff is developing. Because it just seems to be very samey. Sharky, topology's looking nice. Thanks. It's coming along. Like I said, it always goes through like phases. Just kind of have to work through it and keep going. Do I use alphas in my sculpting workflow? Yeah. We use some alphas here on this. Usually it's more like wrinkle stuff, wrinkle alphas. Let's see if I can show you the sculpt. I'm not sure if you saw this sculpt before. This is a decimated version of the sculpt, but yeah, we did some alpha stuff. I'm trying to remember where we did that. like inside the mouth here, like wrinkles, some like noise put on top of stuff. Like we made custom alphas for these like ridges here that were dragged across, and like the little pitting that happens. And then lots of I like using alphas, but I'll resculpt on top of them just to make everything feel a little bit more unique. Because I think the trouble with alphas is I like them. They make things much easier, much faster, but you can really start to see some repetition and stuff in alphas. So I like to make sure that I am resculpting on top of stuff, so that way it looks more unique. So we also used VDM brushes in here too. Those are really cool. Like I made a VDM for the scoots here. The bigger ones that I'm working on right now. Made a couple versions of those, I think, and then we dragged those out. VDM brushes are really cool. I enjoy working with those. It can be a little bit like there's a little bit of trial and error with them. But once you get a nice working VDM brush, it can have a lot of utility. A lot of the scales are handmade, yes. Like all this stuff. If you wanted to look back at some of the earlier streams, you can see how we achieved those. But a lot of the scales, that's the thing I kind of keep talking about in the streams. The thing about crocodilian scales, especially like all this stuff on the arms, they're such a specific flow that alphas don't really take care of that problem. Alphas are really good when you have like a large surface area of like very repeated shapes, like if you were to look at like a lizard, like a Komodo dragon, like majority of their body is just like the same type of scale, like all the way through their body. So that type of stuff is really good for alphas, or like tileable textures, stuff like that. With a crocodile though, their scales are very unique and they transition throughout the body pretty quickly. Like you can see like these are like really square and really organized in rows. And then once it gets up here, they get really random. And then these are round right here and still kind of organized, but then they turn square here. So it's really hard to do that kind of work with an alpha. So the majority of this, like smaller general textures, like wrinkles, like this stuff, can be done with alphas, but like all this stuff was mostly hand done. Yeah. The only thing that was alpha, about this was like the surface texture. Like these little like ridges and stuff were done with alphas, but the scale itself was not an alpha. It was all of these were hand placed. All this stuff on the tail, all of it. That's kind of the tough thing about sculpting crocodilians, is that in my opinion, there's no way around it. Like you kind of just have to jump in there and get, roll up your sleeves and get to sculpting. Sometimes it's just that way, I think. it's nice to have those like opportunities to like optimize and get alphas to work for you, but sometimes it's just about getting the time in and yeah, getting those hand sculpted details. I think hand sculpted details look 9 times out of 10 they look much better than alpha stuff though. So if I had the opportunity, I would just do it all by hand, but sometimes you kind of just got to keep it moving. Yeah, and the more you do it, the faster you become. So, I don't want to make it sound like it's such a big slog or anything like that. Like I've gotten pretty quick at hand sculpting stuff like scales, just because I've done it so much. It's more like, for me at this point, it's more like a mental thing. Like it can seem like a bigger deal in your head than it actually is, you know? So the important thing is just to get started. Once you're going, it generally doesn't really, it's not really that hard. Matthias, I hope I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Wonderful work, mate. I've seen your art station, top notch. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Thanks for taking a look at the art station page. I appreciate that. I'm hoping to get more work out there soon. I'm actually working on, well, I'm kind of turning my attention to my YouTube channel. I have like time lapses and like process videos on there. But I have a lot of videos, like a lot. Of a good chunk of my work that I've done that's just like sitting, in my hard drives, and it's not edited, and then I'm trying to get through a lot of that right now. I've started editing. I have like 2 or 3 videos. Yeah, 3 videos right now that I've started editing. They're just like quick time lapses and stuff of like sculptures and paintings that I've done. For various projects. But I want to start getting more of that out there. One of the projects I'm working on right now is not unannounced, but it's not done. So once it's done, and it's shared, I can share stuff, So I have videos for that I'll be sharing when those are able to be shared. I'm excited about that. And I think I'm gonna be adding some videos and stuff that have like maybe not tutorials like right away, but like just commentary about what I'm going through with the project at the time. Excuse me. And see how it does. I've never done it before, so see how it goes. It's a kind of a learning experience too, because I've never done like a voiceover on a video, so it's at least I'm learning the process, you know. This little, it's being weird. I used to edit videos in, what's it called? Premiere, which is the Adobe stuff. I'm kind of starting to not like Adobe, to be honest. Photoshop is just acting like, ever since it got, like they went to that, cloud thing where like it was subscription based. I think Photoshop's been really weird. Like performance wise for me at least. Like there's just like little glitchy stuff that didn't used to happen before. I really don't like that I have to pay a subscription for that stuff. So I started looking into alternatives. And I've been using DaVinci Resolve. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. But it's a free, I think it's free. I didn't pay for it, I don't think. If I did pay for it, it wasn't much. But it's a different program, and it's actually doing really well. I'm really surprised by it. And I like it a lot. It's really easy to get in there and do like, for my purposes, it's not super complicated. It's just, you know, they're just time lapses. So I just need to speed up the footage. But it's been really nice getting in there and actually getting work done for that. Sharky, my channel's just Raul Ramos Art, I think. I try to keep everything the same. So like it's the same on my ArtStation, Instagram. Like everything basically is the same. I only have a few videos up there right now. Lots of, I think, Beasts of the Mesozoic stuff is what I have up there now. So I think that's looking better. I'm still gonna have to figure out how to like terminate all this stuff, but it's much better than before. keep going. Clipchamp from Microsoft. I haven't heard of that one. I'll check that one out too. My wife uses DaVinci, so that's one of the reasons why that's how I got introduced to it. She was doing a bunch of research on that. Yeah, the thing now is like, again, it's kind of like a mental thing. It's like so much work that I have built up and like backlogs of stuff that just like thinking about going through it is a little bit crazy right now. But as long as I like just kind of take it bit by bit, you know, don't get overwhelmed, keep it fun, no pressure. Like I'm not I don't imagine that my channel is gonna like blow up or anything. That's not necessarily what I want. It's just learning to edit, sharing my work, you know, that kind of stuff. If I keep it lighter and fun, then I tend to still be interested in working on stuff, you know. It's the minute that it gets super like serious and heavy that I start to lose interest. And it's a good opportunity to like start to like, I do have lots of client stuff that I'm going to be posting process wise, but there's a lot of personal work that I have too, like a lot that I want to share. Some of it's dino stuff, a lot of it's creature stuff. I mean, I love creature design. Majority of the stuff that I do now is more like paleo art, so there's much more restriction, you know. But I do love creatures, so I have a good amount of that stuff in my my personal work files that I would like to share. Yeah, Sharky. I can definitely do some stuff like that. I'm kind of sad about this. I had a tutorial that was out on, it wasn't a video. It was a written tutorial, like step-by-step thing that I did for CG Society a long time ago. It was about paleo reconstruction. It was called, oh man, the title is kind of cringy. I didn't come up with the title by myself, by the way. I think it was called like Sculpting the Perfect Dinosaur with Raul Ramos. I really wish they didn't do that. But I didn't really have a choice in it. But yeah, I sculpted a Ceratosaurus, and I broke down like all of the steps from the beginnings, like planning and stuff like that. So I would like to do something like that. I've been thinking about so CG Society took down their website. I don't know if you ever went there or not, but it used to be a pretty decent resource for people like me, like who were interested in sculpting and stuff, to go and like learn about how to do it. But they took it down. At least their like resource part of it. They had like an article about it that I kind of just skimmed through about why they were taking stuff down and why they were restructuring and stuff like that. But yeah, the part of that restructure was that the tutorials section where my tutorial was is no longer available, I don't think. Not on their website, at least. So I have to either I need to either find like another place for that to live. I was thinking about putting it on my ArtStation blog. I think you have to be a pro. I think you have to have a pro subscription to do that, though, to have a blog. And I haven't gotten around to it yet. That's definitely on my radar. I guess in a way, some of what's been happening here in the stream is kind of like paleo art tutorial. I mean, we are reconstructing a long dead creature here. Oh, you did? You found it? Let's see if the link still works. Yeah, they did. The link takes me to like a weird site now. I mean, it's still like tutorials and stuff, but it's called Domestica now. What is this? Weird. I need to take a look at that. I don't want to be sending people to a weird website. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, thanks, Sharky. I hope it's useful. I have done a much more in-depth muscle study of Ceratosaurus. I don't know if that'll ever be published, though. or I could just redo it and then do it myself. What you do one time, you can do again. The article could use some updating, for sure. Because the way we reconstruct, I think I did this it's almost 10 years old. It's 8 years. So the way I can't talk. The way we reconstruct certain things now, has changed. So it'd be nice to get a more updated version of that. And like the way I go about things has changed too. The resources I use has changed. Be nice to get that updated. It's kind of a big project though. Like it took me quite a while to make that article. So we're going pretty well on this, I think. Getting through these back osteoderms. I'm just gonna make a cut down here. Save myself a bit of time, I think. If I did this. Oh, David Krentz. Yeah. Which course did you watch? Because there was one that I saw from Gnomon Workshop, and then there was one that it used to be up on, I can't remember the site. They call it, is it UArtsy now? I took the class actually, or like I bought the class. It was quite a long class also. But he was sculpting like Acrocanthosaurus, I think. Yeah, he actually sculpted several things during that course. And like Scott Hartman was providing some consultation during the course as well. It was really cool. Nice. Yeah, those are super helpful. I still remember a lot of the information that David presented in there. David's a really nice guy. He actually, it's been a while since I've spoken to him. I should actually reach out to him again. But he actually reached out a while ago, just to kind of chat about ZBrush and like different techniques for making dinos and stuff, which was really, really fun. Yeah, I have no idea where you can get those courses now. Actually, what I need to do is I need to get back on, I need to log back into my account and just like download them just in case, because like the UArtsy stuff has changed hands, I believe, or like it's switched up the website like a couple of times already, and I'm kind of scared that I'll lose access to my tutorials. So I need to get those off of there pretty soon. There's a lot of them though. Like there's a lot of videos, and they're each like an hour long, I think, or more. So downloading them can take a while, which is why I haven't done it. Not all of them, at least. But that type of information is super valuable. Actually, I don't need to do it that way. I think I can inset this one. Yes. It's kind of a little bit different from how I was making the other osteos, but these ones are I don't like the way that one turns out here. Let's see how it goes. I'm considering this the tail. Like this is like the beginning of the tail where it narrows here. This is the torso. And this is kind of the tail section. So I'm kind of considering those two different areas. Both like kind of anatomically and like just in terms of how I'm organizing the mesh. The thing is, if I do a cut here, let me see. See how many undos I can do. There we go. Would be nice to get a little bit more resolution here. But if I do a loop across the whole thing, it starts going down into the leg, which I don't want. Which is why I'm doing the kind of inset sort of thing here. Because it gives me two loops. And I'm pretty confident I can make use of those to get the resolution I need. I just want to be able to represent the curve of the like the point of the osteoderm, because that's pretty integral to like the silhouette shape. So I want to make sure that I get that in there. And these should allow me to do that, I think. We'll see. He did message you back. That's good. Yeah, he seems very approachable, you know. He's always been super helpful. When did I start sculpting digitally? I started sculpting digitally in 2012. That's when I first like took ZBrush super seriously. But before that I sculpted traditionally. I did a lot of like sculpey stuff. Yeah, super sculpey, mostly polymer clay. With maybe a bit of monster clay stuff too. I'm not sure if they call it what the type of clay is, but anyway, like oil-based clays. Yeah, so that's when it all started for me. It was basically it was just out of necessity, really, because I had this plan for how I wanted my grad show to go. So I was graduating that year from art school, and I had an idea that I wanted a 3D printed bust of a creature that I was sculpting. And I had no idea how to sculpt it, and I had no idea how to get it 3D printed. And I decided that I needed to learn that in the middle of preparing my whole grad show. So I made things triply stressful on myself. So I learned how to use ZBrush, and then I learned how to 3D print, kind of all in the same crazy whirlwind of activity. That was like the last few months of my college courses. But I haven't stopped since, you know. It's been something that I've continued to do ever since then. So seemingly it was pretty well worth it, I think. Worth the stress. Mateus, hello. How are you? I'm doing pretty well, Mateus. Thank you. Just getting through this retopo stuff slowly but surely. Trying to map out how I want this to work. Like some aspects of retopology is almost like you're trying to see the future, you know, like in a weird way, like how things are going to end up once it's all finished. As a matter of fact, let me see. How does this look when it's subdivided? It smooths out a lot. That's because it's not, we'll probably have to do some projection or actually activate the shrink wrap. If I do the shrink wrap, it might actually work better. I don't know if that's actually, I think it's just because it's a preview. We'll get it there though. I think I'm actually going to be moving around my office today, which I am both excited about but also slightly dreading because I have a lot of there's a lot of stuff on my desk. I have I have 3 monitors. So I have all the monitor stands, all these cords. I try my best to be nice and neat with my cable management, but it's still kind of it gets out of control a little bit back there. And then I have my computer, which I'm also gonna kind of take apart and clean because it's definitely something I've been putting off. So I'm gonna be kind of doing a lot of chore stuff today. But I think it'll be worth it. Because the way the way I think I want my workspace to flow, or be organized, I think will be much better once I do that. I hope. The other thing is I'm going to be able to get my air conditioner in here because it's been getting hotter and hotter. And then my computer already puts off a lot of heat into my room, my office. So it in the summer it can become really unbearable in here. And it's probably not good for my computer's performance either. So getting that air conditioner in here is super important right now. Yeah, cable management is really hard. I've seen those guys you see people on YouTube who build their own computers and they do the crazy setups in their offices and stuff, and they always look super clean. There's no visible cables anywhere. I'm I don't understand how you guys do that stuff. There's just too much. I have 4 hard drives. I was able to hide 2 of them behind my monitors and then plug the hard drives into the USB cables in my USB ports in my monitor actually. But then I have 2 more that are just on my desk. And then I have the USB hub that I have, and then there's a bunch of stuff connected to that. Like, I don't know. I did my best. I was pretty proud of myself though with my actual PC, because like I built my own PC, and it's like it's got this open, like it's an open PC, like it's not encased, but it looks pretty cool because you can see all of the components, but there's like behind the motherboard, there's like a section where all the hard drives and stuff go, and that's where all the cables are routed. And it actually looks pretty neat back there. Like, it does look pretty nice. So I was proud of myself for doing that. And like the part of the thing that makes my desk setup kind of difficult is that it's a standing desk. So I have to make sure that the cables can extend higher. Because when I raise the table, the desk, if any of those cables get pulled, they could damage the ports or whatever they're connected to. So that was a big deal. Yeah, the gaming setups are pretty crazy. I would love to have my office be like, I mean, it's not a disaster. It's just sometimes looking at the cables is a little bit distracting. I have that section there. What I'm trying to keep in mind is the way I'm going to lay out the UVs. So this, I'm going to just mark some stuff really quick, because if I don't mark it, then I might forget it. This needs to be its own loop. It needs to maintain its where is it? That loop is hidden in there someplace. This needs to come apart separately in the UV spaces. So that needs to be its own thing. So I don't really want to mess up that edge. And then the same thing here. I don't think this is in any danger though of being messed up, because it's far away from those osteoderms. But this will be a loop. I mean a seam. The neck. I think I kind of screwed my neck section up. Maybe not. This needs to be separated here. So that's a UV group. And then we'll take off the head, the jaw. That's how the UVs are probably going to work. This will probably need to be separated at least in half. So I'm going to pick a spot right here. So that's another seam. We could maybe go one down. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be around here somewhere. Can you tell us what dino you will model when you finish this one? I'm not sure. I don't think we've discussed another dino at length, really. So I don't actually know. If I did know, I think it would be okay to tell you guys, but I don't know right now. I kind of have like, I'm working on a couple models. I'm working on this and working the Urano. There's a couple things that the Eocarcharia needs. So I'm a little spread out right now, I guess. So I would like to actually like wrap up these before we start something else. And then I think in the future, I'd probably prefer to just like work on one and finish one before starting another one, because it can get a little bit hectic. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I'm getting distracted by UV stuff right now. But I mean, once we're done with the topology, the UVs are actually, they don't take that long to do. It's just determining where the cuts are going to be, like where the seams are going to be. Did I cut that all the way around? No, I didn't. Okay, that's good. And actually, if your topology flow is nice, the way your seams work is really easy, because you just follow a seam down and kind of like unzip the model. It's really, really easy. Which is why I like to keep the seam lines like in certain areas, because it makes it really fast. Like, we're basically done with the UVs at this point. It's gonna get screwed up though, because I have to extrude some stuff on the arms, but that's essentially the UV like part. And we can come in here. This will probably be a seam. Take this all the way down, I think. Maybe we can always adjust the way the seams are working later. Mateus, will Echoes of Extinction be like Evrima, with the mechanics, like, for example, the Utah Raptor bounce? I don't know. I don't know exactly what the mechanics will be for each of the dinosaurs. It's sort of like a game design thing. And I'm not actually involved in like the design of the gameplay for the dino. I just do the modeling for it. So I don't actually know. Sorry, I can't be more helpful right there, but yeah, I don't know for sure. I'm debating if I want to make these triangles. I don't know. Maybe. How many dinosaurs do I have planned for modeling decal? For me, currently I only have the 3. I don't have any more than that at the moment. So it's just the Puru, the Eocarcharia, Ouranosaurus. Triangles won't mess up the animation process unless they're in a heavy place of deformation. I'm going to do my best to get rid of the triangles. So that will be like a secondary pass. Right now I'm just trying to capture the form. Anytime there's a triangle, I might try and come back and make it into a quad. But the thing about it is, think about the motion that the let me see. Epic. Just give some thought to the motion that the animal is going to have here. So, especially in the torso area, right? He can rotate. You can rotate up a little bit, and we're trying to keep it like realistic motion. So the torso is going to be able to rotate up, a little bit this way, and then down a little bit like this, like an ab crunch. And then if we were to So like the triangles are actually not going to interfere with that type of motion because these are going to contract inward. And then if you think about the side to side motion, like this. So he's going to be able to go sideways like this and then sideways like this. They're actually not going to do too much there either. The big deal with triangles is when it comes to like joints, like you don't want triangles here. You don't want triangles here, stuff like that. You want to keep it away from. Places you want to put triangles in places that are like they don't see that degree of mobility. Like the torso has like a basic up and down, side to side, but it's a reptile, so it's not gonna have like a super crazy range there. And you'd actually be surprised, like you should be able, if you're interested, only if you're interested in taking a look, you should be able to find lots of images of like Monster Hunter, for example. If you look at their models, majority is quads, but you will find triangles, especially in the spikes and stuff, like all the crazy osteoderms that those monsters have. You will find triangles, like a lot. Even in like AAA character, like there's a guy on YouTube who does like character breakdowns for AAA games. Can't remember what his name is, but he like looked at like Kratos from God of War. He looked at some of the Last of Us models. What else did he break down? He does a lot of breakdowns of different models for those types of games, mostly characters, but you'd be surprised at how many, like where those devs take shortcuts. I wouldn't say they're shortcuts. They're just like, it's what you gotta, they do what you gotta do, what you gotta do kind of thing, you know? It's not necessarily the most pretty thing. Like you would look at that mesh and think, oh, like this looks actually pretty, like this isn't what I expected, you know? For a AAA game, you would expect everything to be like perfect, like, you know, quote unquote perfect. But they're not as perfect as you might think. Triangles actually, for me at least, they would be more of a factor for sculpting. Because ZBrush does not like to subdivide triangles. And they result in unpredictable smoothing. So if I were to make a base mesh like this and try to go into ZBrush with it, that would be a bad time. But we're not sculpting this. This is a game mesh. We're not sculpting on this. This would actually be a big pain in the butt to do a nice sculpting mesh for. Which is why I'm thankful that I don't have to do that. I was honestly expecting more flexion movement in the back. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. It's obviously not as limited as like a dinosaur would be. Like dinosaur spines are very rigid. They don't have a lot of flex up or down, and even side to side is difficult for a dinosaur. Alligators and crocodiles have much more. But if you take a look at the spines of a crocodile or alligator, like this, like look at the spinous process here. So think about the range of motion that you have. So you would have, it's a pivot here, and then this vertebrae would pivot over, and you don't have that much space in between here before they start to intersect. So you actually don't have a lot of curve that you can get out of this spine over the long, you know, over the length of it. Like you might be able to get them to bend like this. And then you probably have more flex down than you do up. But it wouldn't be as much as you would think, I don't think. There's probably actually some papers out there on range of motion for crocodilians, probably, I'd imagine. But I think a lot of the, especially like if you look at dinosaurs, if you're trying to do like realistic dinosaur animation, their range of motion is much more limited than is normally depicted, I would say. I say so. The thing is, like, we say the range of motion is limited, and it makes it sound like these animals are like just these like rigid boxes that are just walking around. Like, I don't think they would have been that way. Because if you think about like something like an ostrich, right? Would you say they're like not graceful or not like dynamic or not like they have a lot of interesting movement? But those animals have the same limitations to their body as like a theropod dinosaur would. But they're obviously like very dynamic animals. You know, they run really fast, they jump around, they're able to kick. You know, they're able to do everything that you think we would expect an animal to be able to do to survive in the wild. It's just that, you know, they can't flex their spines all over the place. They can't they have certain limitations to how far their legs can go backwards. Like, I think that's something that, at least for me, I find a lot of people like maybe misconstrue or like it's hard to imagine, you know. It's difficult to think about something that big and something that as big as a dinosaur, like a T-Rex, right? Or and how it could move. And make it scientifically plausible, at least. And you know, the inclination, I think, is to be very safe and like work on the safe side. So I think we make them even more rigid than they probably were. But looking at like I said, stuff like ostriches and stuff like that, I think it's I would say it's, even though they have limitations to their anatomy, I think they would have still been very like interesting, very dynamic animals. Sorry, I went off on a range of motion tangent. The reason why I talk about it so much is so I have to deal with it a lot because I have I pose a lot of stuff. Lots of the models that I do are not for games. They're like for like informational stuff. So like just very nice like renders of dinosaurs. So posing is a big deal because you want to make it look dynamic and interesting, but it also needs to be realistic. So thinking about poses Like how far back can the leg go? How curled can the feet be? Like that sort of thing is always like on my mind, especially while I'm working through a pose. Decole, do you also do work for the humans, like the clothes, armor they wear? No, I don't work on human models. That's a different artist. I was going to work on some of the tribal stuff, but just the way my schedule is, I think it's probably better that a different artists work on it, because I think it would take too long for me to get around to it with all the dinosaur stuff that I'm doing. So no, I don't work on the human stuff. I do really like character work, but I won't be doing that right now. Hold on, what am I doing here? So this. Okay, brain is processing right now. So I have this is a weird little area here, because it's like terminating. I have these 2 tracks of polys that I made earlier, and that's ending here. But then I need like additional topology going across the way, and I'm like, this is a complicated little area that I made for myself here. What I should do is just mirror the area that's already working well. So I might need to redo some of this stuff. I might need to do it like that. Um, ooh, how did I do that? So one of the things I did, because I was planning on like doing more sculpting in Blender, is I made it so Blender is like compatible with my tablet. So I can move around with my tablet inside the viewport like this. The problem that I ran into, or I'm running into right now, is that some of the like selection controls for Blender are kind of messed up now, because I should be able to, I think it's like shift click or alt click on a loop and it should select the whole loop. But instead of doing that, it like selects the it just like makes the screen move for some reason. So I have to figure that out. I'm gonna let that digest for a while, because I am not sure where I'm gonna take that. Majority of this is working. I mean, if I need to, I could go like this. That might actually, I might be actually making too much of a deal out of this stuff. I might be able to get away with just going like that, merging all of those like little triangle sections. Because I think what's going to happen, so like if I look at this, what I'm trying to capture is the raised part. So this part right here, that needs to come out and be represented in the topology. But this stuff gets really flat, like this area. And I don't think I need a lot of height there. I think this can all mostly be normal map. So as long as I'm getting this little peak of stuff, this stuff can still be mostly flat. It doesn't need to be super like integrated into the topology, I think. So I'm going to start to clean up some stuff, because that does make things a lot simpler for me. It's a lot less to deal with. And I get rid of those triangles there. And I'm always trying to get rid of triangles. We'll see how it goes. Is this going to collapse? Well, I think it might. Actually, just delete these and then merge these. Same thing. Yeah, that is looking better, I think. I still will need a little bit more info here though, because if I look on the side, you see how much of that space is like just air, basically. I need more resolution in there so I can get closer to this little area. So I needed to do that, but this stuff definitely can be simple, I think. Oh, one game that I saw in the I think it was yesterday, the summer game show or whatever, was Jurassic Park Evolution 3. I've been kind of interested in playing a park sim game. I don't know if any of you have played Jurassic Park Evolution, if you would recommend it or not. There's also the Prehistoric Kingdom, which looks cool too. Maybe Prehistoric Kingdom is much more up my alley. I don't know. But it could be fun. Those seem like really chill games to just, just kind of relax and build a park. Watch some dinosaurs move around. Maybe the Jurassic Park ones aren't chill because I think the dinosaurs can get out and like start killing people and stuff. But in theory, it sounds like a relaxing game. Definitely more relaxing than what I've been playing lately. We'll start like this. Yeah, this is good. We'll start like this, and then we'll add more geometry in here in the centers to get that little peak. I should have done that in the beginning, but tend to make things more complicated and then simplify rather than just start simple. I try to start simple, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Okay, we'll fix this other stuff soon. Yeah, the stuff I've been playing lately. So I've been playing, I think I might have mentioned this. I was playing Night Rain with a couple buddies of mine. And that game is super addictive. It's much more addictive than I thought it would be. But it is really stressful. It's like it's all of the like craziness that a Souls game usually brings, but just like at triple speed. Because you're trying to get everything you need, all of the resources you need for your upcoming boss fight. But it's like the time is ticking, like it's just everything is basically timed. So it's lots of quick decision making. And sometimes you're like weighing. A lot of the stuff that you are making decisions about can have a big impact on your team. Yeah, so a lot of the stuff you're like considering so many different options because there's like they give you a bunch of loot with a lot of different attributes, and you're trying to build your character. You're trying not to die. You're trying to like navigate the terrain, which is really crazy because Elden Ring terrain is like super. There's lots of height to it. There's lots of little cracks and crevices that you can fall into and get stuck on, and you're constantly being chased down by this fire that's like coming out from the outside and like constricting the playable space that you're in. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. But it's really rewarding if you're able to like come together with your friends and like overcome the boss at the end. I need this to be here. And then this. Merge. This got weird down here. This does not need to be. I can dissolve this edge. And then this. I think there's a face in here that should not be. Yeah. That's not good. Okay. That's a lot of cleanup that just happened right there. Yeah, we definitely need more resolution on the tips of these. So we'll get that in there. Okay. So yeah, this will, I think stuff like this will work out better. Because now I can accommodate this shape. It's kind of like, it's like a diamond or like a weird maybe like a, what would you call that? It's just really weirdly faceted. But I think it will result in a better shape reflection. I mean, like capture, I guess, like this. Yeah. We might need a little bit more on the higher ones, the taller ones. But I think that works. Okay. Thing that I'm going to have to deal with eventually, though, is how. Let's see. I'm gonna have to terminate all of these edges somehow. Down here. Some of these other ones, though, these guys on the side, like these ones, might not need. They might not need as much. I think that these ones definitely need more because there's just, see this poking out here? It might need one more loop around, or maybe like just a little bit more of a division up here. But it's only this like center row, I think. These other ones might be able to go without that. I think. Yeah, I think these will be fine just with one little inset. I mean, if I had to, I could just take this center line all the way down around the torso and just kind of do it that way. It'd be really easy just to kind of add another loop here. I'll think about it as a solution. If it doesn't add too much, too many faces, that could be an option. Yeah, today's gonna be super hot. I can feel my office warming up already. So I need to get that. I'm gonna be really happy when I get that air conditioner in here. It's gonna kind of it's gonna be a process though, for sure. Okay. I like the way that's looking. Oh yeah, baby, Purussaurus. Yeah, he's a he's a big chunky guy. I think these areas are going to work out pretty well. So I'm happy about that. It's much like in the beginning, this happens every time I do a retopology on a mesh. It's like so much of it is like, how the heck am I gonna do this? You know, because you're kind of seeing the issues with the mesh, like in terms of like how am I gonna make a bunch of like boxes essentially fit on this mesh and still make it look like a crocodile, you know, or a dinosaur or a bird or whatever it is. Because it always seems like a little bit like yeah, just a little bit daunting, I think, at least for me. But you know, then you fast forward a few hours and you're at the point, you know, where you're actually making it work, and then it's not so bad. Like so much of making art, I think is kind of like a mental game where you're like seeing a challenge and then like your brain is like, at least mine, it's kind of like I go through all of the possible like outcomes and how it like could go wrong, and it's just like it feels like an overcalculation, you know? And fighting against that is a big part of the process for me. Especially in stuff where I feel a little bit like, I would say that out of all of the steps in the whole process, retopology is like the step that stresses me out the most. I will be honest about that. But it is very rewarding when you're working it out, you know? Like it feels good when you're finding solutions and like you're putting the puzzle together. It's just that beginning phase when like the puzzle is like completely dismantled and like laying on the table, where it's like, oh my God, what is this? Kind of thing, you know? How do you manage the polycount budget? Do you do revisions after finishing retopo? Polycount budget is around 30K polys. So yes, I will do revisions. Like, so, so what I'll do is I'll box out the model, try and get it as close as I can, try and get it like, I'm being pretty stingy with where I'm making cuts, because basically every cut I make is creating new faces, and every new face eats away at my budget. So I'm trying to be like super stingy with where I'm adding stuff. Inevitably though, like there's gonna be areas that become like over detailed or areas that are under detailed. So after I get like the overall mesh working, like at this point, we're still trying to get the overall mesh working. There's still chunks of the mesh that need to be represented. Like, this, you know, obviously the area that I'm working on right now, this area right here needs to be represented more. There's little like fin things on the arms and legs that need to be represented more. So once all of those things are like in and they're starting to work, then at that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking about, okay, like, is this in budget? If not, where can I optimize? Even if it is within budget, I'm still going to try and optimize it even more. So like, where can I like cut down on stuff? Are there areas that can be merged? Are there areas that don't need a loop that are currently have a loop? Like stuff like that. So like one area that I'm thinking of even right now is this area. I'm thinking, do all of these need to be there? Because maybe not. Maybe I can merge those somehow. Because essentially, like, I want to keep my details where I need my details, but everything else can be minimal if I can get away with it. So like I'm gonna need details here on the feet because that's dense, you know, details here on the face because that's also dense here, down the tail, at the tip of the tail. But then all of this stuff like in the body, all this stuff, I can try to keep fairly simple. And then yeah, at the very end, like if I'm still over budget, my face is covering my budget, my poly count thingy. So you can see the numbers there. Right there up in the corner. That's the count. So we're pretty well under budget. I'm not sure if this is counting just one side though, because this is mirrored. So this could be around 18,000. So we still have a good amount of budget to go. So I'm pretty confident we'll be fine. We still have the teeth to include in that and like the eyes. But I think we'll be fine. If not, like I said, we'll cut down, we'll merge stuff, we'll delete faces and like rearrange them. We'll move the edge flow around to get details better. Like we'll do all kinds of stuff to make it work out. Oh, okay. Well, let me finish up this little part right here, I guess, because I was thinking about it. Sharky, it's both. Are you talking about the mirror modifier? Or what do you mean that it's both? I didn't catch where you said that. Oh, it counts the mirror as well. That's good. So that means I'm pretty well under budget. I'm actually surprised by that. That means I have a lot more room to manage, to move around with. That is actually really good. We're doing pretty good then. I'll still be like, I still want to be very stingy about it, you know, like I don't want to I'll try to save the budget as much as I can, but if I need to push the ceiling a bit, then at least I have more to go, you know? Okay. So I think we did pretty good today. We got all of this filled in mostly. Essentially what we're going to do is just see this area that we're working on. We're just going to do that to all of these. So it's very repetitive at this section. And we still got the sections down here too. So it's a lot of the same kind of process. But at least we figured it out, you know, and we can apply it to all of the other osteoderms and get it knocked out. Yeah, that's where we'll stop today. Make sure I'll save. Yeah, thanks guys for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. I'll be doing another stream on Wednesday. We'll be working on the Arano. I think the Rhinoceros, we're gonna start working on the growth stages for that. I'll be doing probably some drawing to like figure out what the growth stages are going to look like before I start mushing the mesh around to try and get it into the right shapes. So that'll be an interesting phase, I think, that you guys can come and check out if you have the time on Wednesday. And then next Saturday should be the same as well. We'll pick up on the Peru and keep going. So thanks everyone. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you have a good day. And I'll see you next time. Sharky, if you want feedback on your sculpt, yeah, just tag me. Maybe post something in Discord if you're part of the Discord and tag me maybe. Or see if you can message me on like Instagram or someplace. I'm down to take a look if you want some critique. Okay. See you guys.